What's up, everybody? In this video I'm going to show you how to replace the fuel filter on a BMW E30. So the issue that I'm having, and you may also be having, is the delay between when you first crank the car and when it actually starts. And it's not good on the starter. It's not good for a number of reasons. And basically this is pretty much what happens when I try to start. Like, you heard that hesitation. It didn't really want to start. And basically I'm also having a part throttle or wide open throttle issue. Like, you can hear it when I'm hitting full throttle. You can hear it run a little rough as well. As you'll see my pedal foot. Hopefully you can see that well in the footage, but basically I hit full throttle and there's like a half-second delay. And I'm pretty sure it's coming down to just fuel pressure. I haven't actually put a fuel pressure gauge on it to test. But everything that you can find on the internet as far as diagnosing everything goes is like, yeah, it's most likely gonna be the fuel filter. And it's such an easy thing to do, may as well try that first. So the first step when you want to replace a fuel filter on pretty much any car is you want to disable the fuel pump. And to do that, you can either unplug it from the fuel pump itself, or you can just go to the fuses like I'm doing on this E30, and you can see it is fuse number 11 here, and it's this little 15 amp guy. You pull that fuse and shuts off the power to the fuel pump. And the reason you want to do that is you want to try and get as much fuel out of the lines as possible before trying to take the fuel pump or fuel filter off. So now, after you disable the fuel pump, you want to go ahead and crank the car over for a little bit. It's not going to start. If it does, it won't run for very long, just like this. Might give it like one more, maybe two more cranks just to be sure. And call that about good. So once you've gone ahead and done that, the next thing you want to do is find out where your fuel filter is. Luckily on the E30s, the fuel filter lives right down here. Right behind the driver door, or the driver's side doors. If it's a sedan, it'll be behind the rear left door. So anyway, I went ahead and got this jacked up. You pretty much will have to on the E30 to get underneath there, especially if you're big like me or if your car is lowered. Basically, it's just 2 screwdrivers to get the worm clamps off of the fuel lines, and then a good pan just to catch everything. You probably won't catch everything just because it's a messy job. Anything you do with fuel is messy. But anyway, this is the AutoZone part number. I just went with the cheapest filter or whatever was just available to me. So actually there's 3 clamps here that hold the filter on. There's the one on each line, and then there's another one up here. Like, you see this band that goes around the filter. That secures it to the car. And it's just another flathead little worm clamp. You just go ahead and loosen it up. Probably get a longer flathead for this one, but the shorty works pretty good. Anyway, get it loose enough to where it's moving around like that. This is where it starts to become a mess. And once you start taking these clamps off, fuel will start to spill. You can see it here catching on all these spider webs. I went ahead and put these vice grips on. They'll help to stop more of the fuel coming out. But basically, these lines, one of them will be coming straight from the tank, And I'm pretty sure it's this guy from the tank. But anyway, you won't be able to stop all the fuel unless you get really lucky or if you're really fast. If you were doing this and you hadn't taken the time to turn the fuel pump off, you will get a shower of fuel right in your eyes. And that's never fun. So take every precaution you can. Anyway, as soon as this line comes off, I'm sure it's going to spray me anyway. So I'm just going to not look at it. Whoop. Yep. Once you're done fighting all this and getting the old filter off, just go ahead and slide the new one in. And just go ahead and put one of the lines back on. You want to remember too to keep your hose clamp on while you're shoving it on here, because boy, wouldn't it be fun if after all this fighting you finally get the hose on, and then you find the hose clamp sitting in your catch pan. Got everything tightened up back down there, and I'm gonna go ahead and cycle a key a few times just to let the fuel prime in the system. And just keep an ear out, because whenever you prime the system, it's when you're gonna hopefully find your leaks. And as expensive as gas is, really don't want to be wasting it any more than you have to. So go ahead and try and crank it again. Oh. That don't sound good. Yep. Yep, we got a leaker. So, figure out where that's leaking from. Okay, so that took longer than I expected it to. As you can tell, I had to take my hoodie off because this thing right here decided to spray fuel on me after having to take the filter off and on like 3 or 4 times. But the reason that happened was the old line that was connecting from the feed line to the filter, the rubber hose, this guy down here, I'll just showing you, but this line here, you can see it's a lot fresher. I had to replace it because the one that was on there, it would leak at the fittings, like that end and that end, and I kept trimming it back, and it just kept leaking. So I got this hose, which was like the only hose I had sitting around the garage. It was about a 1/4-inch hose, which I don't even remember the actual spec for this car, but I'm gonna tell you, it was very small. I had to kind of force it on there. And like I said, I don't really care too much about this car. At least like making it perfect. But anyway, just to wrap it up, is that I had to replace that hose, and good chance that it's old hose, like probably 30 plus years old now. So if you're in this situation, just go ahead and replace it. Save yourself the headache. But anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and crank this over. It's a little faster to start. It's been so long since I've had a running 6-cylinder E30 that I can remember how long it's supposed to crank. But as you can tell, it takes a lot less time now to start up. Which, that was sort of the goal. So that's all there is to it, to changing a fuel filter on an E30. It's not a super hard job. The old hose came back to get me this time. But I'm really pleased with the results. Cranks up a lot faster. Got to work on the throttle response. I don't know how much better it can get, but good chance there's a few vacuum leaks hiding in this one. Anyway, that'll do it on this video. We'll see you in the next one.